To be able to find yourself, whoever you are, whatever you want to be, is something that is way more satisfying than any job you will ever take. So using Friendly Fashion, Inside Out, and all the things that I wanted to do and still want to do in my life, I mean, it has a lot to do with the fact that I made sure I knew who I wanted to be. Always know your ground roots of what made you, happy.
You just heard Nadzirah Hashim, our guest for this issue's podcast. We sometimes feel that commitment is like a huge boulder rolling towards us, and although we know we have to deal with it at some point, right now it's just easier to run away from it. So besides playing too much Temple Run, this month Issue Magazine met with Naz, who left a cushy corporate job for the wilderness of online fashion retail. It wasn't easy, as you will hear in the podcast, and it still is a challenge. But that's just part of the package that comes with chasing your dreams. Yeah, so in a lot of story myths, there's always a moment that sort of seals it for you. I'm assuming with Friendly Fashion it's already like the second big thing in recent years that you've done.
Yeah, so, it's only been 5 months. Honestly, if you ask me, this entire process of from Inside Out to Friendly Fashion has only happened in the past 6 to 7 months of my life. Okay, maybe a bit more, 8 maybe, yeah. But at the end of the day, it has been very recent, and it had a lot to do with the fact that I worked for an inspirational personal growth company. They were called Mind Valley, right? And Mind Valley, basically, I was a writer for this blog called Finer Minds, and my job was to inspire others through the content that I found online, whether it was a video about a woman who couldn't walk and could walk again, or something like a person on a boat witnessing amazing amounts of birds, and all these things that are so little yet so inspiring. I somehow inspired me to realize that I needed to live the life that I wanted to live, as opposed to living it in other people's voices. So
sort of through writing other people's stories.
Yes, story. So, and I have a story that I want to, we all have dreams, and I decided to wake up and go and live mine. So yeah, that's what I do right now, live my dreams. So yeah.
They were very recently came about, right?
Yeah.
So, but the idea before they came about must have been floating around for quite a while.
Yeah, okay, the website had been floating around my mind for the past year or so. I knew about it because of a friend because this website didn't start in Malaysia. It started in Europe, and it's originally from Lithuania, and then it expanded to Germany and Czech Republic. And then I approached them and showed them that there's potential in Malaysia as well, and they thought the idea was great to try, and so we're trying it out and seeing if it works out. So yeah, essentially that's what we're doing right now, just to see if the Malaysian market really requires a site like Friendly Fashion. So yeah.
You have a very strong sense of leadership and initiative. What brought that on? Was it your upbringing? Are you the eldest person in your family?
Well, actually, I'm not the eldest. I have an older brother and a younger sister. My older brother, he's quite a responsible person, but overall, actually, between my siblings, yeah, I have been usually the most responsible one, and always interested in world issues. My grandparents and my parents, they were all always very inspiring in terms of doing what they want, especially my dad. My dad, I think I'm a bit like him in that sense, where he was one of those guys who was from the corporate world, chartered accountant, decided to one day start his own company and build an event organizing company. And that's a lot of risk, because he's taken countless of risks. And that's the thing, it's upbringing again, you just take the risk. And the thing is, even if he failed, and he has failed a few times in his life, and we see it as kids, and it's a huge phobia, yet do you want to use that phobia for good or for bad, And I'm not going to I think for me it was like, okay, my dad can take the challenge, and he failed, and he's still standing on his own 2 feet. Means that it's okay to fail. There's nothing wrong with the situation.
In your family, was there doubt?
Oh yeah, mom was pretty scared, because I mean, I was working in a corporate company before that with substantial amount of money. I took a pay cut. I'm taking a pay cut right now. I won't lie, you know. So for me, that's a huge thing. How I mean, I lived comfortably before in the office world where it's a 9 to 5 job and no one's gonna tell me. I mean, no people were there to tell me what I could or could not do. And now I can do whatever I want, and it's easy to like slack off and get sidetracked. 6 months. Worst comes to worst, I can always go back to the corporate world. There's no issue here. I mean, any company. I mean, I've been lucky enough to not have a problem with getting a job. Maybe it's due to my experiences and whatever it is, but I always put myself out there and not be afraid of trying something new. And I think every corporate company values that kind of employee who's got the skill of you know, someone who wants to change something or do something good or whatever it is that, you know, they want from that person. But so far I've been lucky. So I told my mom, I said, like, don't worry about me. Worst comes to worst, I can just get a job, you know, and I need this to try. I have to try. If I don't try, I'm not gonna know, and I'm gonna keep wondering, and that's not what I want. I won't be happy, you know. And I see a lot of my friends who are around the same age. I think it's a quarter life crisis thing, but they have this. They want to, but they're scared, and I was scared too. Yeah. I mean, I have that fear as well. But I don't know. Maybe something in me woke up and decided, let's just try. Worst comes to worst, you can still get a job. It's not an issue, you know, so just go for it. And my mom eventually understood, and when we won the award, she was very happy, and my parents were very happy, and they were very supportive. But you know, the thing is like, the challenges are still there. Building your own company is not as easy as, you know, that's just one step over. I mean, and that's one thing for every person who wants to become an entrepreneur. They really have to realize that it is not as easy as it seems, you know, and you really have to. It's a challenge, you know. But I mean, honestly, that was what I wanted. I wanted a challenge to you know, see if I can handle these kind of things. So yeah, so many things that I want to do in my life. I mean, building an online empire is one of them. But then
empire,
yeah, well, online empire, so to speak, because it's like a, you know, a community, and I just wanted an online business because the freedom of traveling around the world with an online business is what I look for, and that is something that a lot of people have not understood yet. You know, the traditional world, they don't really see that, you know, online businesses actually do work, and so. One thing for sure for me is that that's one thing I wanted. I wanted the online thing, and then eventually I wanted to build my own, you know, beachwear brand, all sorts of things. I have like all these ideas that I want to go teach English in South America for a while. All these crazy things that I want to do, and I mean, it's not impossible though. That's what you have to remember. It's not impossible.
Discouraging, because even a few months ago, a few friends and I, we wanted to start an online business, and we felt like in between us we had all the creativity and all the energy that we had and that we needed, and then once you go into it and then start surveying the market, you realize that it's so saturated with competition and that it's not going to be easy at all. So I agree with you, and there are a lot of times when you have to improvise. It's never going to be a straight road.
Exactly.
And so after this whole journey, your determination, is it still intact? Are you still encouraged to do?
Yes, I really am, especially because I felt that the only way to find out if you know, if it really doesn't work is
to just go ahead and do it.
Yeah, exactly. So if I haven't tried for now at this stage where I am, we're at the point where we're almost there, but we're not there yet in terms of friendly fashion. Our expectations are very high. We have very high expectations for the website, and in terms of meeting our expectations, we're not fully there yet, and therefore in fact these next 2 weeks are very crucial for me. So I take it as a massive challenge, and whatever it is that I want to do, which is we're doing this campaign, this does not make people understand that this website is important, then we know that maybe the market is still too young or things like that, and we might have to consider how else we need to strategize, you know, in terms of making the website. Because is it creating awareness, you know, because friendly fashion in itself, the concept of pre-loved clothes, initially the European market were asking me whether or not Malaysians in general have some kind of phobia with wearing pre-loved clothes, and I think I've asked my community several times over, and they said no. I did a survey on Facebook. I did my research, and there is no phobia with pre-loved clothing. But perhaps there's an issue with price. You know,
Yeah.
clothes are cheap in Malaysia and cheaper in abroad. I mean, so like in Germany and Lithuania, clothes are more expensive, and when you sell pre-loved clothes, it should be way cheaper. Whereas in Malaysia, there are very cheap clothes on Friendly Fashion, like branded stuff as well, Zara and all those things. But at the same time, I don't know whether they have been educated enough to understand that, you know, this is normal. You can do this, and like having the celebrities tell them might help. You know, might help.
I think the Malaysian market, they are really they're having celebrity does boost the.
It does. I mean,
credibility
research
because
has
they are
shown.
obsessed.
Research has shown that there's some kind of credibility
Yeah.
towards it. And while I would like to say that, you know, it's something that, you know, Malaysians do. I mean, in normalcy, that's something that they like to do. But I would do other ways of trying to educate them as well, which is why we created the video and things like that. Because I believe in celebrity power, but I also believe in education and how you educate them. So if you educate them in a fun way, they're gonna learn something fun. So that's why we created the video as well, which we will release actually this week. So yeah, I mean, that video is meant to inform people about our website, and it's done in a way that's a storyline. So we do our, I mean, one thing about Friendly Fashion is that we push the limits of creativity and try and forget about the normal traditions and just go with whatever our gut says. So our is me and my sister, and we decide.
How do you soldier on? I mean, I'm pretty sure like you've got rejections, you've got setbacks, you've got returns probably. I don't know how strict your return policy is.
Yeah.
But how do you sort of overcome disappointment? How do you not let it bog you down?
Well, I'm a very optimistic person in general. I mean, it really is really tough to get me stressed. I think it gets me stressed when I see unhappy people, and what we usually we overcome it through remembering the fact that this is just a challenge in life, and you just got to deal with it. You know, like make ends meet, whatever it is that happens around you. If you focus on the bad, you're never going to see the good. So there's always a good and a bad to everything, right? And
is there an incident that you could share?
Sorry?
Is there an incident that you could share? Just like
well, okay, for the website, for example, at one point the bloggers were not listening to us, or rather, we tried to invite bloggers. This was in the early stages of the website, when it was really, really difficult to get them to respond to us. And then we learned how and things like that, and eventually they responded. What we did was we basically because okay, the DigiWow Awards, yeah, for example, I was looking for bloggers, and we were nominated as Online Shop of the Year. So I knew that we needed bloggers, and there were bloggers being nominated as Blogger of the Year, and hundreds of them. So what I did was I approached them and told them that we would write about them on our blog, on our website blog, and in exchange for them to write about us. And that actually boosted our exposure, and it also boosted our votes, because people really liked our website. So the thing is, you just gotta be attentive, really connect the dots. Like I said, is that you notice a situation about one thing that you want, and then you notice what's the thing that's around you that's gonna help you out, and the chances are is that it's gonna take you there. It's very unlikely that you'll come to a dead end, but even if you did, you can still see the other things. There's always something. So you always have to pay attention, be mindful, and notice what's around you.
What is the vision you have for yourself? What personally motivates you? We understand that it's not money. Is it inventing something and being in charge of it? Is it the sense of creativity and entrepreneurism?
When whatever I want to do is, at the end of the day, it's for my happiness, because I feel fulfilled to achieve that, whatever it is that I want.
Is it because you're doing it on your own and Putting yourself up to failure, is that what?
I think yes, it's more to rise to the challenge because I've always been the kind of person who wants to learn something new. Um, Before I worked for the Mind Valley, I was in Standard Chartered and an oil and gas company, and it came to a point where I was getting quite bored with what I was doing because it became too easy for me. And I guess for me, what fulfills me is challenges. So and it's so crazy because when will I ever chill? And the answer to that is when I finally, run my own villa and things like that. So it's like there's a lot of I have stages in my life that in my personal point of view is that I have stages that I've already set on my mind, but I never tell myself that that is it for the rest of my life. I always say things change. You have to understand, compromise, and it is what your heart wants more than anything. So yeah.
And that was this month's podcast. Please rate us on YouTube and don't forget to subscribe to the channel too for more issue extras. Hope you enjoy reading Commitment, and until next time, thanks for listening.